What's up, guys? Oh, I really need to finish a character on last Epoch. The game's been out for like a month or so. You know, I don't have like a big following or anything, but I am starting to get more views, so I definitely need to finish some stuff so I can make my thing a little more organized, so I'm not just like, doing 1,000 things at once. Dear God. I think I'm gonna finish Beastmaster level 66. There's only so much more that could be done, I'm saying. I'm basically almost done. I should be, right? I think at this point, I just have such a strong belief in this game. It really has nothing to do with, like... In that respect, Beastmaster, I might want to go for more damage. Like, at this point I'm going attack speed, but that's kind of like, like, do you really need attack speed? Here, let me see if I can respec. I haven't played this game in a long time at this point. I feel like I'd be a lot more heavy hitting.
Hello, traveler.
I like respec all this. Like, I wouldn't need aspect of the Viper. Roll, yeah. Well, yeah, okay. Like, I could drop poison because that's kind of goofy in a way. Like, I'll drop poison and then I'll respec some other points. Watch this. My crit's not bad, I'm saying. But I really don't think I need poison because I'm not gonna be using the spear. I'm not gonna be using poison. Like zero poison is fine with me. I want to be a little tankier.
Hello, traveler.
And I want to hit harder. Attack speed's not really an issue at this point. Like I've done attack speed. I could even do like dual wield. You know what I'm saying? I could dual wield some stuff.
Do not dwell on regrets.
It's like I have my dogs, and that's good. My raptor. I'll probably just get rid of Serpent Strike and go for another attack ability here. Like Swipe or something. I really would have is Swipe. Is that the only weapon ability I had? I guess Swipe is the answer. Yeah, we're gonna see. I'm not gonna go for any elemental abilities. And then we have leap. I guess leap's good. Heal. And then as far as the passives go, and weapons, you know, do I want to dual wield axes? Dual wield swords?
Take care.
I just want to use this hammer. I can get rid of like poison damage. I don't really need this because I don't do damage over time anymore. But you know, now the goal would be much tankier now that I've dropped a lot of points into poison. And even my companion's health being increased is probably a good idea. Element resistances would be good as well. Yeah. It'd be really tanky. Like I'm reading some of the stuff, you get pretty tanky. So I think I've unlocked some quests through I don't actually remember since I was here last. I don't really know. I guess it's like more of a monolith thing. Yeah. Even then, with the attack speed losses I would be taking, doesn't really matter because I do still have the dogs, you know what I'm saying? So I will be getting, you know, Fury, so I'll be attacking quick. It's not that big of a deal.
Touch me! Get them!
See, I'm still hitting pretty quick. But I'm actually doing a lot. Just more chunk chunk damage, I guess. Chunkier. I forgot that I was on a monolith. Dying isn't good. I lose like some rewards. But I'm still trying to kind of get back on what I used to do. Do I get 2 dogs? How can I get 2 dogs for now? Okay. I was saying, at this point, I just believe in this game so much, even though, like, you know, I wouldn't say like it's not good. Like, it's not a game that people made popular and it just wasn't good. You know, it kind of doesn't have like its bugs anymore. It's still a good game. I just believe in this game so much, like that's kind of what it's just running off of in my mind. Like, it's not even like any mechanics or any experience. How do I slow enemies? You know, how would I go about doing that? Hmm. Do I really need wolves? How much tanking could I really need? I might get rid of them. I'm pretty sure I can still have 2 companions, but I think it'd be better just have 2 like really strong companions. Attack speed's cool, but like, is there any chance of me getting like benefits from another companion? Like, if I get bear, I'll have it. It'll have swipe abilities. I'm saying. Like my dogs have, you know, howl, but the attack speed's not that big of a deal. They're just dogs. They're not doing that much damage. It's mostly just like support. I think I'll get rid of the dogs too. Go for like maybe Sabretooth. I think I like how the bear would work a little better. Fury's cool, but I don't think attack speed is that important. Where I can get like stunning and tanking and all that. Or just spawn straight weapons. I still might go dual wield. Dual wield probably increase my attack speed. I feel like this is better because I have that, you know, range, that arc of flurry. Poison just like jabbing in a straight line with the, you know, like, Probably make more sense to use poison if I had like that one companion would have so many like I had so many that everyone like DPSing like that, like everyone relying on attack speed was kind of redundant, I guess. I feel like playing by Beastmaster with like this hammer is gonna probably get me back into this game. I do need to finish the character and probably gonna be Beastmaster. I'm gonna probably play like a rogue or something. I already have a rogue, but you know, just to get through the game. I think after playing Diablo 4 and seeing how the combat can be, even seeing how like the PoE 2 combat's gonna be, like with the enemies and the characters a little bit more like, you know, dodge. There's more dodging. I feel like this game kind of, as far as the generation of games go, kind of like lost out on that idea to make the combat a little bit more deep, a little deeper. And I think just from that, it kind of falls behind to such a level where it feels like an older game. I'm saying. It already seems like an older game, like a classic old game, but you know, it not having that type of combat, you know, kind of being spoiled, in my opinion, by Diablo 4, like the enemies being a good opponent. You know what I'm saying, not a damaging opponent or one you have to dodge like once, something you have to burst down quickly, just like an actual back and forth potentially. You know what I'm saying. Like I was playing Dead Island and I said Dead Island's a good game to play if it's like your first game. I feel like this is another good game. If you play Dead Island 2 as your first game ever, and also like Epoch, I feel like it'd be a good way to start.
We'll crush you.
It isn't as quick, but also isn't kind of frustrating having to use that spear and the poison. I'm sure I'll get more damage, you know what I'm saying. I'm sure I'll be able to add some damage, because, you know, we're still adding damage. So, you know, comparing the Beastmaster to other classes, you would have ran through the game, I guarantee it. Like, you would have already, like, at whatever rate you would have got to the game as Beastmaster, you could probably double that, almost triple it, 2.5 at least. Like, when I can kind of visualize, like, you would get through this game pretty quickly if you're playing any other class. But I feel like as this is like a party a party comp, like you wouldn't want to not have a Beastmaster, not a Beastmaster, but you know, what is this class even called? Primeless? You would want a Primeless. They'd be pretty good because they have healing, that you know, the tanky. But as far as solo, they definitely are like last place. Unless you went like Shaman or something, even then that could be last place for sure as well. I'm saying.
No room. You're not going anywhere. You're mine. Let's straighten them out.
I think I'm gonna use this axe because I actually have like that belt on that gives me increased fire damage. So I really think it's gonna pop off that combo. And I think it actually is popping off. You know, plus melee damage, plus melee damage, but you know, chance to ignite is high, it's over 100%. And then I have this belt that gives me plus 55 fire damage, so that's popping off probably. It is, I'm saying, I guarantee it. It's gonna pop off now. Claw totem. Oh, it's a swipe. It's affected by swipe tree. I use the swipe. I use swipe, so that's cool. The bears go with swipe, so that's what we'll be using. I didn't even think of that. Claw totem. And this is a claw totem too, so I can use claw totem myself from swipe plus the one the bear has, and that would be a whole nother you know, basically a whole nother layer, a whole nother addition, or another addition to the team. So I can kind of switch to a totem build if I wanted to. I think I might get rid of the raptor, go for the bear, and put like more totems. I don't know. Then I can switch to the thing where I get like one very strong companion or something. Could be interesting. I've always kind of wanted to find a way to utilize that. You know, this guy just straight attack speed. Do I really need to get rid of him to just build towards totems? Like, where do I get the totems from? guessing I would go for like Thorn Totem. There's really no point because that wouldn't help me with any other totem, so Thorn Totem wouldn't really matter. Oh, Frenzy Totem. I didn't even notice I had that for Beastmaster. It's like I can go Frenzy Totem, then I can grab this one right here. I don't really need the Raptor, I don't think. I could probably be without him. So we get rid of the Raptor, grab Frenzy Totem, and build into Claw as well, because I would have off a swipe. And my bear also summons a Claw Totem as well. Definitely want the duration up. Want a larger area. Regeneration is great. Poisons aren't necessary. Effective buff is good. Very buff. Melee damage. Then I'm gonna go back and It lasts for a long time. Then we'll go back and oh. You know, make it around like one companion, and that'll make the bear pretty strong.
room.
Very formidable. This would be good for the falconeer, this bleed, and you know, to the falconry and all that. Whatever the falconry is. Falconry must be like the passive tree. Stash. I do kind of want to play some more falconeer, so we'll see how that works when I throw on these gloves. That'll give me a bunch of bleed, and minimum move speed is good for the falconeer as well. This is a good axe. Definitely a good tank cube thing. If I got like an upgraded version, that'd be nice. Still probably good. I'll be right back. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get back into this, at least as Falconeer. Like, I had the itch to play it, and I'm probably gonna try to finish up Beastmaster today. I don't know, maybe it'll take 2 hours, maybe 3. I don't even know what I'm going towards. Like, I don't know what I have to do. Let's get rid of all this stuff. Go get it out of my sight. I'm gonna just sell this other stuff. I guess when you get a lot of good gear, be sure not to sell anything special. I'm saying not sell anything that's too good. Be cooked.
Take care.
Alright. So I have to go back and get that companion slot, or that companion passive where I only get one companion, but he does more damage.
Hello, traveler.
And then I think I have something that gets you more companions. I can get rid of that. Something gets you like... It's right here. Nature's Embrace. I need a point. I think this isn't too bad, you know what I'm saying? Take more damage, but you do a lot more damage. I think this is going to be able to bet better. It kind of feels better. The issue is summoning this totem and then having this guy immediately do scorpions. Got the AoE. They did nerf Falconeer a lot since I've played the game last, so I don't know if it's still good. I'm sure compared to this, it's good.
Will not die here.
That's the first legendary small idol, any idol I've ever gotten. This first one. Catalyst. I think I actually have another one just like this. Um. What was the quest? Okay. Quest Echo. Dear God. god. No! I gotta do this all over again. Again?
Yes.
Need like some fire resist or something, right? That'd be good.
Take care.
Dear God, oh, good. Oops. I think I'm gonna stop for now. I haven't really eaten anything today. I'm probably gonna come back and play Falconeer if I do play not Epoch again, but I didn't stream yesterday. I was kind of taking a break, not because I didn't want to stream, but because I should usually play a game. So like, I just don't want to be playing a game and just be burning away because some people like reality doesn't coincide with them with existing or playing a game. Like it's almost like if they were playing a game, they hook up to like a machine that helps them breathe. I usually, if I take a break from streaming for a day, it's because I don't want to be like hooked up to a machine, and I wouldn't really ever want to be like that because I would just kind of cripple your body for like a long time. You might do it again another day and again, eventually be cooked. So like, that's why I wouldn't be streaming. I'll probably come back, maybe play Daedalin. I'll probably end up playing Last Epoch, Falconeer. Um, it's kind of like, um, if you ever heard of Warcraft or let me show you. You ever heard of like Warhammer? Pretty sure people have. Copyright. You've heard of Warhammer? Or am I 40k? Um, I'm trying to find the thing. Uh, Dang, I can't even remember what it's called. I'm trying to like look it up. Um, oh my god. I could have swore it was like servitors or something, but it wasn't. Oh, here it is. Servo skulls. Something like that. You'd be like a servo skull. We'll go with servo skull because that's close enough. We're on a servo skull. Something kind of like a servitor, but there was another thing, and it was like it wasn't really like it was like a job. I'm saying where like they just be working in their machine for like ever basically. I'm just gonna show a picture of a servitor because it's something like this, but you know this one just like this is like a military robot or a cyborg at this point. But it sounds like servitor, but it isn't. It's something else. I'll probably find it um or something. I don't know. Not I can't find it. I don't even know what it's called. I don't want to end up like this. You know, you just end up not really having much going on other than just like burning away. I guess not playing game, just like kind of burning away or just being like in a like a machine or something. So usually if I take a break, it's just because I don't want to be like in the middle of something and be burnt out or something. I don't know, right? I'm sure a lot of people have something smart or wise to say, but that's not really the point, right? Right? Like I don't want to like play Borderlands and then because I wouldn't really be burnt out in Borderlands, but like I should be. You know what I'm saying? Then or like I don't want to just be enjoying the game because in my mind I could and like I am. It's kind of like if you're on fire and it's like, well, I'm still alive, but like you're on fire, so you know the inevitable outcome of you being on fire is you'll be burnt. So it's like it's like if you argue with people, like inevitably that can cause a problem that's people will put above an argument, like they'll punch you in the head or something. Like I don't want to get to doing that because eventually, from arguing or just playing games nonstop, because I could, right? You'll just end up getting punched in the head or something, right? It's almost like the quality of enjoyment is sometimes reflective to how you would feel like if you're like like people who have like chronic pain couldn't enjoy things because they're in pain. So that's kind of like that. Like I don't want to get to the point where I could enjoy it, but really I shouldn't be, right? Like maybe there aren't enough medical ailments for someone that they're experiencing where like they wouldn't like admit to something, like I don't know. But like I know that if I played Dead Island for 5 hours already and the game if I only had the game for 3 days, that means I'll be playing it for another 5 hours and that'll be 10 hours and then another 5 hours and that'll be 15. So eventually the inevitable will happen where you'll just end up probably putting yourself into making yourself have chronic pain or something, right? Making yourself just be super crippled in a way, right? Like you can go to the gym every day and then you really wouldn't feel like it. You wouldn't really be into it, and you can probably not hurt yourself, but it'd be better if you didn't go to the gym for a couple days. So when you do get into it, or when you do go to the gym, you're more into it, and you're not even thinking about hurting yourself. Like it's not even the same type of thoughts. So I guess that's a better. It's like a parallel. Like you could be burnt out in video games, or you could be burning yourself out just because you're playing them, and you probably shouldn't be. As opposed to there not being any parallel, right? Like you just play them when you feel like it. So that's a good one, bro. Like eating healthy. When you're eating healthy, you don't really feel like it. It's not like you're really getting anywhere, right? Like when I feel like eating healthy, I feel good because it kind of goes in line with how I want to feel, right? If I just don't really feel like eating healthy, it just might be good, but it's not as good, right? So if you don't have those feelings or thoughts that go along with it, it's kind of pointless. It's almost like being in a machine, right? Like the machine will decide what needs to be done or what you're doing is right, right? I like if I was just to stream and not play a game or just like talk, that would be different. I could do that forever. I could do that for hours. But I don't really feel the need to do that. I have nothing really to say in particular. Usually I just come up with something on the spot, so I'm not gonna start streaming and talk for hours and hours, based on the fact that I could come up with something every time I would finish saying something, I could come up with something else. Like that would be um the driving factor behind me not wanting to play a game and getting burnt, or having that parallel to getting burnt out. It just goes against the plan. But the plan is to stream and record when I feel like it. It isn't to start just talking for hours on stream or talking about something happening. That's not a plan. Like I don't know what will happen. It could end up being where bad stuff happens, or something worth talking happens all the time, where it's just bad stuff, or it's something good, but everyone would not really care because it's good stuff, and they would just not care what you were talking about, right? Like you can only talk about something good so much to people because it's just like they had enough. You know what I'm saying? They're done. They're like a vampire. They had enough of the light. So like my plan is just to make video game content, right? Like that's the plan. So I have to just do it when I feel like it. It's not based off of an argument. It's not even based off of a position. It's like, okay, if I'm gonna stream today, I have to be able to play a game that I'm already playing. I can't start a bunch of games at once and not finish them. Right. And get through it and enjoy it and want to play it and get through it and actually look at the screen and not just be in a daze. And like that's every day. Like I feel like playing a game every day. But then do I really feel like it? Like do I still feel like it? You know what I'm saying? Like if I get up and go do it, do I really feel like it? And if I don't genuinely feel like it, then I'm not gonna do it. Right? Like this isn't like a system of expenses and sacrifices where I have to record, it has to be a game, and if I don't feel like it because I have to record and I have to play a game, those two things outweigh me feeling it. It doesn't work like that. Right? Like no one really cares. I'm saying like whether I do it or don't. It really is that I care. You know, like I like to see my videos. Like I like seeing my videos on my channel, and like I like um watching them. Right, like I'd like to watch these videos, and if I like watching them, I could watch them forever. I could watch them infinitely. But if I have to make them, I only can make them when I feel like it. You know what I'm saying? It's like someone that cooks a meal. You have to put a lot into it. Like you could just throw some noodles in the microwave, but you know the outcome might not be as grand as making your own food. But you might not feel like it. You could always make the argument that if you do this, you can get this out of it, but no one feels like doing it. And eventually, if they don't feel like doing it, they still do it. Eventually, they wouldn't even care what came out of it. They wouldn't be able to do anything else either. It would just be like putting yourself into a corner that you may not be able to get out of. You know, someone like a lawyer who argues there's some stakes, like someone can go to jail. There's higher stakes, and they're not always arguing for their own life, so it's not that big of a deal, right? Like they can literally not argue. They can turn it off. If I just make videos every day and I don't feel like it, eventually I would have had to I would have to feed into some sort of logic or some sort of reasoning to why I am doing it, and it would just be like I was talking myself, like basically drive myself insane, right? So I'm sure people do that, but they've adapted. Like I said, like a lawyer, like a lawyer is usually like in your mind like a giant person, like he's at least 6 feet tall or something. They've adapted that whole persona and size to where them driving themselves insane to do stuff, it doesn't seem like they really are, but they probably, in a sense, would be. So if you went to therapy and every time you went to therapy and then once you were done, you like went outside and fought somebody, like just like boxing match, and that was integral to your therapy, it would kind of be redundant because it would make certain things irrelevant and other things don't make other things okay. You know what I'm saying? So like if I don't feel like playing a game, it doesn't make it okay because I have to. You know what I'm saying? That's just a point. That's the point to be made. Like, well, if you do, then you'll have it. But eventually, all your reasoning is if you do, you will. That's not even that's just a fact, right? It becomes less reasoning, and more factual. Like if I don't really feel like playing a game, like I could. Like that's not really a reason. That's just a fact. Like I could. So if my whole stream and YouTube is based off the fact that I could, what's the point of doing it? Because it always will occur. There's no point. You know what I'm saying? It has no meaning. Like I could wake up, like what's the point? Like if I don't want to wake up, there's no point. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, if that's what everything's based off of, people aren't even really arguing, they're just stating facts. And their arguments don't mean anything. They just right? Like if you don't feel like doing something and it's really what you're doing is based on the fact that you do because that's what it adds up to. Like if I feel like doing it, that's where all my stuff's from. That's where everything else will come from, right? But if I started streaming and doing it just because I could or just because it would be there, that's different. So if people are telling me that they are from that point to where they do things because they do, like they're like a robot or something, and that's how they do it. And that's on them, right? That's what they do. So if they ever were to have purpose, it probably would be impossible because they just do things because they do. They just do them because they should, or they have to. There's never really the idea is the idea of do they want to? You know what I'm saying? But they wouldn't really have the idea if they don't want to, what would happen? You know what I'm saying? So they don't even really think. They don't even identify as a person or themselves, so it doesn't really matter. The argument is kind of irrelevant. If someone was willing to not have arms, their argument about what you should do to your arms doesn't really matter because they don't care about their arms. They don't even have arms, right? Like if someone doesn't really make music or make YouTube videos and they wouldn't care about them, then it doesn't really matter, right? It'd be different if they said, well, if I were to make videos, I would care or but if it doesn't matter to them personally, like, it doesn't matter to me either because why would it matter? Right? Like if someone would make videos in spite of them not feeling like it, or the same people getting to the point where their health is affected. Like I'm not trying to get to even thinking in those type of parallels where me doing something that I have to do affects my health, and then what can I do then? You know what I'm saying? So like reasoning isn't the same as um the actual result. You know what I'm saying? If I say, well, here's why, it doesn't actually mean what is going to happen is the same exact thing as me saying, here's why, or me giving you a reason. Like if I say, I feel like Octopath Traveler every day, but I'm not going to, I would give you a reason. And then you would say, well, in reality, you could play it every day and you'd be fine. It's like someone saying you can do drugs every day and you'd be fine. You could, but in reality, you could do something else every day. And then you could have done something other than drugs every day, and that would lead to you doing something else every day, and you would never be stuck doing drugs every day. So I guess that's the point, is I don't want to get stuck doing something every day where I could stream one day and then one day not stream, and then on the day I don't stream, I could do something else. And then I can stream one day and then I can also do something else on top of that instead of just doing one thing every day for no real reason other than the fact that I could. You know what I'm saying? So many people who are like I could do it because I'm a bully or I'm tough. Like that doesn't translate to anything else, right? Like you don't have nothing in the chamber. You have no other backup plan. You couldn't do it because anything other than you could, right? So people might think that's clever, but that's just doesn't make sense. In reality, it doesn't make sense. Like if I watched the news and I said, well, I could cover the news, but really they just covering bad stuff, and the good stuff people aren't like gonna explode and go scream around town about it. Maybe you couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe some people are just able to, maybe some people are in a position, but like you'd have to actually do it. You couldn't, it couldn't be because you had a reason you could do it, right? Like if you have one reason you can do it, doesn't mean you actually can do it. And doesn't mean anything. Like, okay, I could play, um, Fallout 2 on stream, but I already started Borderlands 3. I've already started Baldur's Gate 3. Why would I do that? Because I feel like it. But normally that wouldn't matter. Normally it'd be like, I already started Borderlands 3. I already started Baldur's Gate. That's kind of the reasoning why I can't play Fallout 2 because I feel like it, right? It can't just be one reason. It has to be like, it has to actually make sense. It has to get you somewhere. It just can't be because you can argue, right? So if I say, well, I'm not gonna start Fallout 2, when I was deciding what game I was gonna start playing, like I'm gonna start Baldur's Gate 3, I'm gonna start Borderlands 3. So I have to, that's like an obligation. Like I have to do that, or it just doesn't make sense to start another game because I probably wouldn't finish that either. And if I do finish Borderlands 3, now I can play Fallout 2. You know what I'm saying? And if I end up playing Baldur's Gate 3 or Borderlands 3 and then I don't feel like playing Fallout 2 afterwards, then I probably won't. You know what I'm saying? If your reasoning only leads you to alienate yourself and others, it's not reasoning. It's just like you're doing something, like you're literally lying about the reason and doing stuff sneakily. It's not the same thing. Like I could probably stream Fallout 2 and complete it in a week or something. I probably could, but that probably won't happen because I already have 63 hours in the game. I've only played one or two actual playthroughs of the game. So I know that a playthrough for me and reloading a save and trying to min-max, that takes probably maybe 5 hours a day, right? So for me to stream it for 5 hours a day, but normally I would play Fallout 2 every day for 5 hours. Well, now I don't feel like playing every day 5 hours, all right? And now I can't just min-max and grit my teeth and play the game. I have to stream it and add that layer. Right? It's not like you're going to Coachella and you're going to bring your camera and record it. That experience would bring you out into the world. Right? It's not the same thing. You can't always be at Coachella because everyone else would have to watch your content and you be there. Like you can go to Coachella every day. That's different. You can't always cover the bad stuff on your channel because That's just bad stuff. You can't always be. It can't always be. You know what I'm saying? It's not how it works. Like streaming is you stream. You don't. You're not. You don't. You're not always like that. Like it's not how it is. Before I even started my next playthrough of Fallout 2, which I recently started, I had 59 hours. That's when I put my review up, and then I added a couple more hours. Right. So like I've already added a couple hours in the span of 2 or 3 days. But then I'd have to add more hours to finish the game if I streamed it. And then I'd have to add more hours on Borderlands. Enough hours to complete the game and have it all recorded. You know, enough hours to stream Baldur's Gate 3 and have it all recorded. That's like a couple of days worth of time. And the span of like not even the most addicted video gamer, not even the ultimate video gamer would add 48 hours or even an hour to a game they play every month, every week. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a lot more time on my other Steam account, but I have like 113 hours on Team Fortress. I think this is a good example because this is a game you would add a lot of hours on. I doubt I'd record Team Fortress, and every month I'd have another 24 hours. Every month I have another 24 hours. A lot of people who are like the ultimate gamers usually max out at 1,000 hours, maybe more. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really possible. Like you can end up playing a game the first time for 24 hours, which is a reasonable time, like a day, like doing side quests or even making a new save to go back over and do better. And you wouldn't have 80 hours, you'd have 20 hours. You'd be done playing the game after 20 hours, 24 hours. Right? So if right now I'm playing Octopath Traveler, you know, that's like 2 hours, 3 hours every couple of days. Like we'll say every 2 days, that's like 3 hours. Plus, within those 2 days, I might play another 2 or 3 hours of Dead Island or Borderlands or Baldur's Gate. Switching between all those, that's like 2 or 3 hours for each game. That's 4 games. You have to play those games 4 or 5 times each every week or every 2 weeks. That's like days worth. No one does that, right? No one's playing that much video games, especially not recording it. Like maybe at first, but not plan to play it forever. Like that's miserable levels. Like people like that are just miserable, and that's like how they enjoy stuff. Like they're like smart people. You know, I get it. Like it's possible, but not really. Like you can almost not really even consider a streamer the ultimate video gamer because they're a streamer. An ultimate video gamer wouldn't stream; he'd still play games. So like that's just, I guess, a misunderstanding people would have that you wouldn't play that much. Like you wouldn't be able to. Like you may say, well, 3 hours a day, that's not a lot. But really, it would be, I'm saying, because after a week of you doing 3 hours a day, that's 21 hours. That's almost a day of playtime. So then well, 3 hours every 3 hours every 14 days. That's not a big deal. That's 2 weeks. That's 42 hours. Okay, so let's say you play 3 hours a day, or let's just say for the entire month you play like 24 hours worth of games, because that's not even that much footage. It really isn't. So then that's like, if you plan on streaming for like at least a year and you only streamed for 24 hours a month, that's 228 or 288 hours. 288 hours. That's 12 days worth of streaming in like a year. You'll probably end up streaming more than 12 days worth. So that's 1 year. If you plan on streaming for 2 years, and in reality you were streaming for maybe 5 days out the week for 3 hours, you know, you really have like 180 days. You would go around the world 180 days. That's a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like you'd be streaming for 180 days out of the year. Well, not really. That's not possible. Wait. Well, if you streamed like 3 hours for 5 days, that's like within a week. Wait. Every day you stream, but 3 hours every day, 5 days, 3 times 5. So that's like how many hours a week, and then 4 weeks in a month. So that's 60 hours a month for a year. So that's 720 hours a year. So that's like 30 days a year. That's a whole month out of the year. In reality, you probably, or someone like me, would stream for a month out of the year. That's not even realistic. That doesn't even make sense. Like if you recorded a month of your life every year, you probably understand that that would consume more than a month, or it could take more than a month. That's insane. It'd make more sense to do like a real life stream where you were gonna go out to eat, or you were gonna go to the park or something, and that would be, that would supplement you with some energy and some experience, and then maybe you would have like a stream where you sleep or something. Like that would make more sense. But just straight up gaming for a month out of every year, that would be insane. Like if you're playing with friends and whatever, and like you were gonna go to like PAX or something, like you'd have to literally take the idea of creating content seriously, that what you were doing was gonna make something worthwhile or something, right? And if that were the case, cool. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like that's cool. Like if you were like a movie star making something that took a month of a year, that's cool because what you're gonna make is gonna like make other people happy and all that. It's hard to say. Well, and in reality, I would spend a month, 1 month out of the year, as selfish as possible to make it make sense to me or something. That's not really the point. The point is streaming 1 month out of the year. That time, the time it would take, is it worth it? It could be, but am I going to do it just because? Would it still be worth it? It still could be. And once you get to the point where streaming for 1 month out of the year, every year for a couple of years, however long you stream, is something you do because it's worth it and not because you feel like it, you're not really wasting a month. You're not wasting anything. It's worth it, but you might really end up in a bad way, as far as your health goes, because you might play games outside of streaming, and that would be like 2 months out of the year you playing straight up games. And you sleep for like 8 hours a day. Like you'd have to still take showers and eat food. So then you'd probably do that for like 2 or 3 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't really feel like doing that, why do it? You know what I'm saying? Maybe say, well, after a year or 2 years, I'll have money, and like, but you'll never feel like doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I was like working for money, as compared to streaming, I would still feel like working sometimes. Like, I would still feel like working, sometimes out of that whole period of working. So to me, it doesn't really make sense to do that. It's like saying someone felt like doing it, they did it, it took a lot of time. Then on the other hand, someone didn't feel like doing it, or they didn't care about motions. They don't really care about that stuff, and they still did it for like a month out of the year. And to them, it wouldn't even make sense that it was worth it. It would just be like that's what they do. Like they like to argue people. They like to play a game for a month. It's like once I get off stream, I'm gonna play Fallout for like an hour. But really, I could have added that to the month. But I might not really feel like doing it. It might not make sense. I'm already playing Baldur's Gate 3. I have 166 hours on Baldur's Gate. You know what I'm saying? That's like 6 days, almost 7 days. And then if I'm gonna stream it, I'm only on Act 1. That's gonna be like at least another day added to that. You know, on top of the 166 hours I played, we'll say mostly off stream. That's gonna be like 8 days, you know, maybe 9 days. It's like if I feel like playing games and I feel like streaming, that those both take time to put them together. That's double the time potentially. You know, like we'll add a third. That's like a third of the time. And eventually, I can't just play games. I can't just stream. I have to put them together. So I can't just stream games. I have to play them off stream. That'd be insane if I just played games on stream. Or, you know, on the other hand, I just stream and don't play games. Like that's possible. Like that's an option. But it isn't a good option because it's like because I can't play games for 8 hours a day on stream, right? Like that's at this point, it's like you can't real life stream because you can't play games for 8 hours, and I feel like that's a point a lot of people run into who stream because they don't think playing games and streaming for 8 hours requires any amount of effort, or it doesn't really matter. That's what they would say. But I would say that I could stream for 8 hours, but then the next day I couldn't. Right? I couldn't do that for 2 days in a row. Not playing games. Like I could stream video games for 8 hours one day and then run around outside for a couple hours. But that wouldn't be like my day. Like I wouldn't run around on stream for it. That'd be like my day was fulfilled. Or my day has been complete. And I'd be like, you know, that could be however long. Like, I can go on like a road trip, cool. But it really gets to the point where your quality and your plans for content are so great that it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy, right? Like you could be relaxing the whole time playing games, but another part of you is using energy, right? It'd almost be better to say that streaming and creating content's like a dream to someone, and they're willing to put their whole life into it, but they understand that it isn't everyone else's dream. Everyone else isn't going to put their energy into it. Everyone else isn't going to appreciate it or like it. So they might just have arguments to why they could or they couldn't. It's not a dream to them. It's like an argument to be had for them. I could say, well, if I already played 166 hours, like 7 days of Baldur's Gate, I can play another 7. Okay, but how about what up Borderlands 3? You can play another 50 hours, you know what I'm saying? And then Dead Island, you just got it. You already played 5 hours, another 5. Fallout, another 60. That's almost like a month in a month. I've almost done all the streaming, which isn't possible, right? But you know, I've almost streamed a month within a month, right? Just thinking like that, like, well, I have to do it again. You know, Path of Exile. I'll go back to stream Path of Exile. I already had a day in it. You know, when did I get the game? I'm saying, when did I first get it? I already have a day in it. Another day. I haven't even beat the game. I haven't got past Act 2. I think I actually got to Act 3. I haven't got past Act 3, or I haven't got to Act 3 on any of my characters. I played all the characters for the most part, just trying them. I already have a day of time. How long do you think it'll take to beat the game? 2 days, 3 days, in the seasons, another day or two. So it takes time to where you either decide that you don't care about playing games on stream and you'll just argue with people about it, or you say, well, it will take time to make video game content, and I have to plan accordingly. I have to take breaks, and seeing it'll take months and days to create hours of content people may or may not watch. I don't really care. Like I like to see it. I think people are watching it a little bit. Like that has to be fulfilling, right? So people that get to the point where they don't really even play games anymore, they just be on a stream like a giant swollen-headed creature. Like that's up to them. Like if you want to do real life stuff, like that's entertaining. But at the end of the day, it's still content, people. It's not real life to them. You know what I'm saying? If you go to Disney World on a stream, it's funny and entertaining. People might be watching it naked at home. That's not. It's not real life to them. It isn't. So like I'm waiting for games to come out. I'm waiting to get games I don't even have yet, so I can spend 1,000 hours playing that, right? So that's just the point. It's commitment, it's time, it's enjoyment. It isn't just argument. It isn't just burning myself out. That'd be pointless. It'd be like you're like a philosopher from Greece. You just burnt out arguing with people. You know, I have 50 hours on Smite. Smite 2 is about to come out. I've already played Smite on my other accounts for at least 50 hours on console for sure. On you know, the Smite launcher back in the day for sure. If the Smite Alpha begins on May 2nd, how long do you think I'm gonna play that? Like a day, like a 2 days worth of time, and I'm gonna record it, and that's gonna be 2 days worth of time on Smite, or at least a day. Then I'm gonna go back to playing other games. That's another day of time. So like, I can't just play games for 3 hours a day every day because I already did it yesterday, and then the day before that I did it again, and then I did it again the day before that. So you know, there becomes a point in time to where enough time's passed and you've done enough recording to realize or just decide, do you really care about doing it? And I do. So like, I'll take breaks and I'll record it and I'll put more effort into it because I care about doing it, and it'll come out better on my end, right? To me, someone else might say, you haven't done it for 8 days in a row for 8 hours, you're not doing it. Right? And the people who are watching you can identify with that. You're probably just hurting each other by thinking like that. Like, you're playing games for 8 hours a day and streaming it. They're doing something for 8 hours a day, and it doesn't really matter to them. Y'all shouldn't even be doing this. Y'all should both stop. You shouldn't be encouraged by your viewers, or you shouldn't be encouraging them to do stuff like that because it doesn't do anything but hurt people. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm probably gonna come back and play Falconeer because that's what I want to do, and I need some food. Come back and do it. Right? Like, it'd be better if I was like in a vacuum and I was able to just do YouTube videos because I could record in one day 8 hours and chop that up into hour bits and upload that. But then I would be kind of not benefiting from streaming. Like, streaming to me is beneficial where it kind of does keep your energy up because it's live and it's nice. Right? Like, people going to medical school, like, that's completely insane to me because I've already been to school for so long and I don't understand in detail everything that happened for me going to school for like 18 years or however long. And then another like 8 years. Like, at that point, it's like you might kill yourself at that point. Like, you might have spent your whole life at school and then you go to school for, like, you'd be like a zombie. You'd be like completely, you'd just be stiff at that point, right? It'd be like it'd be transformative. You know, you can't really argue that fact because back in the day, people didn't have technology, so they weren't able to entertain themselves in the safety of like some technology room. They were like in the middle of the woods, so that wasn't a big deal to go to school for 30,000 hours. Like, their reality was like they live in the woods. Like, they're like Benjamin Franklin. They went to school. Like, they'd just be in the woods anyway. They wouldn't be doing anything anyway, right? Or like they were like a king, or they had some type of ambition. But someone was taking a bunch of babies and throwing them to school forever. Everyone doesn't have ambition. Everyone doesn't have drive. Everyone doesn't have a purpose. They're just in school for 80 hours. And even if they don't, it doesn't mean they'd be there for 80 hours. It just is like, I'm not doing. I'm not gonna do it, right? Like, I understand what to consider. That's considered something to be amazed by, to be impressed by. Oh, you were able to do something that long, and not only did you do it for that long, but it was something that wasn't just a walk in the park in some ways, right? Like, that's something that you can do. Like, I applaud that. Like, I could sleep for 8 hours. I couldn't do this for 8 hours, right? I'm not gonna say that there's not anything because wouldn't be able to do it. So I'm gonna get out of here. I'll probably come back and play Last Epoch, Falconeer. Like, I'm gonna go eat some food and do other things. I think instead of putting out high energy and being a streamer, I think the whole thing was that you were supposed to receive these things, right? It's like if I jumped in the air and exploded. Like, people would assume that that was just like an act, and it really is for a lot of people. But in reality, all the energy and explosion is supposed to go into my mouth and sustain me. It was supposed to be like, hey everybody, what's up guys? Like, that was like for whoever was saying it. You need like a mirror or something in front of you so you can receive all of that. But I am thinking about making YouTube videos, not streaming them because, the quality would be better and I can get certain things done that would take a month or two. But something to be chopped up in videos, it would come out frequently. I think that would be good. Like I think playing Fallout 2 off stream and just being able to sweat and edit and not worry about the stream or anything, just be able to record it all and edit it and upload it all eventually. Like I feel like that would be a good thing. Like that would be a project. It isn't like the daily grind of making YouTube videos. Like that'd be like be alone and wait. You'd be all alone making YouTube videos. Be alone for like years and years, and then that'd be like your whole personality. Like you'd be alone, right? Like some games take too long. Like Fallout 2 is very concise. Like you go to one area, you do everything in that area, you go to the next area. It's very concise. It's very streamlined. Like I don't need anyone else's opinion about Fallout 2 when I'm playing it. I just play it how I want to play it, and then it gets put out. That playthrough gets put out, and over time, it's released. And then on other days, I could stream something like Dead Island 2. Something where you just stream it. Like I don't really care about playing it alone. That would be like really being alone. Like it'd be horrible. And then putting out like a 6-hour playthrough. Like something like Fallout 2 is such a nerdy. It's so concise. You go to this area, you go to that area, you do this, you do that. Right? I can edit it. I don't have to like interact with anyone showing up, and you just put it out. One episode, next one, the other one. You chop up the footage, whatever you want to do. And eventually you put out that series. You put out your Fallout 2 series. More likely I would put out like a Fallout 3 series or a Fallout, not a Fallout 4, a Fallout New Vegas series. And that, Fallout New Vegas would be kind of hard because the way that game plays later on is kind of like the way you experience it's like such more magical. Like you just be torn up. I can even see myself, installing Fallout 3 today, going on YouTube, recording it, or going just to record it on YouTube and playing through it because this game's kind of concise. Like you go to this town, you get some quests, you go to the next town, whatever, you min max. I can see that being easily, I can see that happening, much more easily than like trying to stream a game for 3 hours a day or 4 hours a day. Even like Chrono Trigger, I can see playing Chrono Trigger because it's a very short game. I can see streaming or recording this and blah blah blah. Put out this, put out that. It'd be easier. It's easier. It makes more sense. I'm saying, like a game like Borderlands. Like I couldn't see myself sitting alone in the laboratory, putting out Borderlands episodes because it would be so. You'd be alone. It'd be so crazy. It'd be like trying to take something flat in the lab and not even make it jump, and then putting that out and it jumping. Like you must have just ran underneath it and made it fly around. You must have picked up and made it jump. If I'm just gonna make stuff jump and make stuff active and cool, that should just be on stream. I shouldn't be like sitting in a laboratory on YouTube making stuff jump that isn't actually gonna jump by itself. Right? So like I'll probably download Chrono Trigger today and start recording it to put it out on YouTube just without any streaming. Even though I haven't played through the whole game, so I don't actually know what to do. Mega Man? Like just when I look at it, you can tell like, yeah, that would be cool as like, because it looks so old. Like that'd be cool if it was on YouTube and like you didn't have to, worry about it being live or anything. It'd be cool just to have this come out and be able to watch it in episodes. That'd be cool. But it isn't like I'd stream Chrono Trigger in one day or something, right? Like I'm gonna look up how long Chrono Trigger is. It's like 23 hours, which is insane because it's a pretty old game. I think that's insane because that's such an old game. I'm saying. Like, how long is Dead Island 2? It's like 15 hours, right? And then even they said for 100% completion, like 37. So Chrono Trigger was like 23 hours and then 42 hours for the whole game. So hearing that Dead Island isn't that long, I might finish that up. I might finish that island up because it is narrative. It does have that mystery narrative, so I'm kind of pushed forward and forward. There's really nothing to do other than play the play the game, play the missions. But I'll be back later to play some last Epoch. Um, yep. I'm good.